everybody. Hello. Welcome to In This Multiverse, episode 62 with your co-host Chainsaw Reacts and Andy. And look who we have back. Taz is back for a traditional episode. Hello, Taz. Yes, we have a traditional episode this week with a bunch of topics. And
it feels like been a long time. It feels been a long since we had a
very long time.
I need to look at our library now. Like, when's the last time we had a natural episode?
It's been a couple. I know that. It's been a couple. But we have a variety of topics, including a bunch of heroes cast for Superman Legacy, Deadpool 3 Wolverine suit, Jennifer Garner's back as Elektra, all the rumors, Blue Beetle new trailer, Ahsoka new trailer, which at first I was like, nah, it's okay, we don't talk about it. But then Andy's like, we have to talk about something else besides Marvel and DC. And then it's like, well,
I had to actually convince him, but wait a minute, you love Star Wars.
I do, but it's like,
and that trailer was so good.
It was, but I was like, we have other things like the actor strike and stuff we have to talk about, and then of course we're ending with the actor strike, also with the writer strike included. This be a crazy episode for sure. But how's everybody doing? Everybody doing good this week? Besides all the mayhem,
doing well. Aside from all the just craziness happening.
Yeah, I'm good. It wasn't as hot today where I was, so I been able to survive the air.
Air cut. Sorry.
Too soon. Don't joke about that.
Could happen. Never know.
Well, they're gonna need to put out something because we don't have content now.
But see, last week Taz didn't see how we actually start our show because we actually just got into the topic itself.
Do you want me to click on it?
I'll click on it. I got this. So as we start with every show, we have to start with this amazing clip, and I think you'll appreciate this, Taz.
All right then, on with the show.
Oh yeah,
the first time he played it,
Constantine.
Because I didn't know he was gonna have it on, but when he played it, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot he said that.
But one of the best surprise cameo appearances.
Yeah.
And also one of the few good episodes I've seen them for.
Yes, that as well.
Well,
but y'all thought we were done with Superman Legacy casting? No. We just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. We have a bunch of actors coming on board for James Gunn's new reboot of Superman. It was revealed this week that Nathan Fillion has been cast as Guy Gardner, aka the douchey Green Lantern. Isabel Merced is playing Hawkgirl. Oh God, how do I say this next name? Edie Gaffey. The guy from X-Men First Class who played a mutant that was not supposed to die, who died anyway.
Yeah,
he's playing Mr. Terrific, and we learned yesterday that Anthony Carrigan is playing Metamorpho. Everyone who knows, you probably know him from Barry, the HBO show, but also, for us DC fans, we know him as Victor fucking Zsasz and the Mist from The Flash. So, Taz, were you expecting this many heroes to come out for this movie?
I was not, especially right after we got the Lois and Clark casting. I was like, okay, we're gonna probably chill for a bit. We're not gonna really know anything. We might maybe get a costume reveal or something like that, but I was not expecting them to cast not just one but 4 more big name characters for this movie. And it almost makes me think, are we doing some sort of a early days of the Justice League or a Justice Society that's already established when Superman kind of pops in Superman Legacy? But it's very interesting to see, and I'm happy about these castings for sure.
Which one surprised you the most? Again, I don't know how familiar you are with some of these actors, but who was the one that stuck out to you the most?
I would say, honestly, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, just because of the fact that he voiced Hal Jordan in the animated stuff. So I was like, if they bring him in, I was thinking Hal Jordan, just because that would translate very well. So I was just very shocked that they decided to go with a different Green Lantern for him. But either way, very excited to see him play a big screen version of a Green Lantern.
Now, Jordan, because we had fun talking about the Legacy casting that came out, just again, and then, I think we talked last week, the strike is coming. We're gonna have to wait till next year to get news. But now we have all these actors I know you were a little torn when we spoke on the phone. Like, you're excited, but you're a little torn at the same time.
Well, I think I've come around to it, but here's the thing. I think, and someone brought this up, and I think this is exactly what's happening, because people are complaining, and I get the complaint because it's a good critique. Why was there no casting for Perry White, Jimmy? Like, where are these castings that are probably going to be have more of a role in the movie versus some of these heroes? Because I don't think these heroes are going to have a big enough appearance. However, someone mentioned, well, also they have to get the suits ready for these characters, and if they don't get them ahead of time and get the casting confirmed, and they have the measurements and everything, so they know exactly how to build the suits, then they need to get this ahead. Plus, they're probably talking to these people like early enough to like, okay, let's confirm it because the strike is coming. There's no preventing it, unfortunately. So let's get ahead of it and just announce the casting so you're locked in. So that means the contract is still valid when the strike is over. So that means that we don't have to look again for a new Guy Gardner, right? Like if they didn't sign a contract before the strike, then they have to go find someone else. Maybe Nathan Fillion, by the time they get back, he's not available, or he's not agreeing to the deal now. Who knows? But I don't think they're going to have a big role. And I think James Gunn's explanation about how can I write a story, and I get it, of Clark and Superman without including aspects of Superman in the movie, because in this new DCU, this is not like the origin of the world finding out about superheroes. Like superheroes are a thing in this world. Superman is just kind of revealing himself at this point. But like with Guy Gardner, that is very like kind of not deep cut, but that's pretty deep in terms of Green Lanterns to bring in, because obviously your first thought is Hal or Jon Stewart, but you're not. You're saving that probably for the show, and they're probably going to be younger. I bet the Guy Gardner in this continuity is going to be a little bit older. Obviously, Nathan Fillion's older; he's in his 50s, so they're probably going to go younger for them. But with the other casting, it's interesting. It's interesting, like Hawk Girl, really, but also too is like, okay, so what about Hawkman? Are they going to bring him back from Black Adam? Are they going to find a way to have him play a new version for this new continuity, or are they going to recast? Like we don't know. But I'm curious now, because we're involving characters that traditionally you wouldn't expect in a Superman movie, right? Because if you think, oh, it's Superman, what about Bruce Wayne? What about Diana? Like, the Trinity. That's the typical thing you go to with the like, okay, Metamorpho, Hawk Girl, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, really, Mr. Terrific. Okay, but James Gunn's weird like that. Andy, your thoughts?
I didn't see Anthony Carrigan coming. That's the one that made me tied happiest with Nathan, because I'm like, yeah, I mean, of course, having watched a lot of his Green Lantern stuff, it's like, if this had been 10 years ago, I think he could have been a good Hal. But now, again, yeah, he is getting older, and it's just that he's such a sweetheart that I'm just like, wait, but he's gonna play the douchiest one, like he's gonna play the one that's like actually like that no one really likes. I did see some ridiculous people going on Twitter being like, wait, so they fired Finn Wittrock for Nathan Fillion? It's like, no, like the show, that version of the show was scrapped so they could do a new Jon Stewart show, and then they scrapped that show too.
Yeah,
so they can do.
That was 2 iterations of the show ago, guys. It wasn't like James Gunn went into DC like, all right, we're gonna get rid of this Finn guy and we're gonna bring in Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I do think that the people who are like, oh my god, they're just James Gunn is just hiring his own friends. So I'm like, listen, directors hire people that they work with multiple times all the time. Like, Zach does it, Christopher Nolan. I mean, like, how many times I think Christopher Nolan worked with Michael Caine and Cillian Murphy at this point? It's like,
why weren't people upset that Christopher Nolan brought Scarecrow from his Batman trilogy into playing the lead role in Oppenheimer? Oh, that wasn't an issue, though. Oh, why did Martin Scorsese bring back in his new Killers of the Flower Moon adaptation? Why did he bring back Leonardo DiCaprio, who's worked so many times, or Robert De Niro so many times? Oh, wait, that's not a problem. But when it comes to comic books, oh, that's an issue. People are just stupid. Anyways.
Or like Tarantino bringing back Sam Jackson for everything.
Exactly.
Which I love.
Tarantino has worked with so many.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, your point. Like, he's worked with so many actors. He brought them back for multiple projects. Not a problem.
Yeah. It's just like once a director has this good working relationship with an actor. Like, why not continue that, bring them back, make things easier literally for everybody in that respect. It just, if you worked well in the past, obviously that'll, carry on to new projects. And I'm excited to see kind of just, I guess, the difference between bringing in familiar faces and then also going with some like relatively maybe unknown actors or just actors that haven't kind of had the chance to kind of play in this like comic book space before. I think that there's definitely a good mix at the moment. So I'm excited to see kind of the contrast between that.
Yeah, because right now he's only hired one friend out of the all Superman Legacy casting.
Yep,
one person he's worked with previously.
So I don't see the issue.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the people he does bring on, like, they can act. So it's like, I don't know why people are, I'm so tired of people bitching about stuff. Like, like again, it's like, they're like, we don't get any news. Like, what the fuck, man? We get news. They're like, oh my God, why is it this? I'm just like, guys, like, pick a struggle. Like, pick a struggle, for God's sake. Now, one thing I think is worth discussing is the fact that there's been a lot of mixed reactions to the fact that there are so many heroes coming into this film. And, again, as a Snyderverse fan myself, I will agree that it's definitely when I go back, I think, because I was there when all this came out, when, they would do stuff with BBS and so on, people were like, but it's too soon, why are they doing all this and so on? But then, James Gunn can do what you barely hear any complaints. Taz, how are you feeling about that?
I'm really loving the idea that we're stepping into an already established universe here. Like, we know that James Gunn has said that he's drawing a lot of inspiration from some of the animated projects like the Justice League animated series. I think he's even thrown Young Justice in there as well. Yep. Think about where Young Justice starts. We have an established Justice League. We have established sidekick characters and everything like that. So I'm very interested to see kind of how we jump into this world, having it already be established, having it already be lived in. Like with the version of Batman, obviously he's going to be already at Damian Wayne. This is going to be, a world where heroes already exist. I'm almost thinking that these characters are going to be in here kind of like a proto-Justice League or maybe a JSA, but maybe not be as public as the standard Justice League would be. So maybe Superman is the one that knows about them, but the rest of the world maybe isn't too familiar with these heroes. Maybe they're more like mythological than kind of public figures, and maybe that kind of forces Clark at the end of the movie to say, hey, we need to maybe step into the light, and that's maybe his call to action to kind of assemble the Justice League in the future of the new DCU.
I love that. That's awesome. I really hope that's the case. I mean, I think your point about, like, look at what Young Justice did, just that show alone, like that first episode had so many characters either shown or name dropped.
Yes. And
you're like, holy crap. And then you look at, say, Justice League and how it expanded Justice League Unlimited, where the first episode of Unlimited, when they expanded the show, there was like what, hundreds of characters or something. Like there's like a whole like level in the Watchtower full of characters on screen. Superman's talking to them. I feel like that's what they're doing. Because Marvel Origin set up all these characters, and then eventually got to the Avengers. DCEU tried the same attempt. DCU is like, no, we're gonna start with established heroes, because you're starting with Guy Gardner. That alone tells me, okay, that the world is used to heroes. Like that is a specific Green Lantern you're pulling, and I think they said this is not origin for Superman, so he's been active for a bit. So that means that the world is adjusted to it. Metropolis is adjusted to it, and I feel like this movie is also going to probably name drop a bunch of things that are going to tie into things later. And that's not to say, oh, this movie's only used to set up the DCU, but in a sense it is, because this is the start of like the cinematic side of things. The animated Creature Commandos is going to be, starting off kind of strange, but Superman Legacy has to set the groundwork, because if the movie doesn't establish the DCU well enough, people are like, okay, so how does that connect to this? Like, I don't understand that. Like, so this movie has to work on both a singular Superman story of his early life being a hero, also working at the Daily Planet, but also establishing a new continuity that needed to probably happen a number of years ago. That took a very long time to get to. So,
I think for me, it's just I can see why people have issues with that. Like, again, because I do think there's a hypocrisy going around where, like, anytime Zack Snyder does something, it's like, like goodness gracious, but then like when other like, again, I mean, like Jim Lowe has basically repeated a lot of stuff that Zack Snyder did in his DC movies, and it's like, oh my god, like Jim Lowe is so innovative, they're so unique, they're so special. It's like, no, fuck, bitch, no, like we've seen this already. Like, so it's again, but I am excited because again, I do think that, what's the right way to put this? Adding big cast members in big roles doesn't always mean lead role. It could be supporting role, can mean a lot of different things. It can mean 2 scenes. It can mean 5 scenes. It can mean various different things. So, again, like as long as it's about Lois and Clark, I'm all good with it. But yeah, I'm just because if anyone in the chat, if you look at the picture of Guy Gardner, I really want to see if Nathan Fillion is he gonna get that haircut? Is he gonna dye his hair red?
Yeah,
I think in the press release they confirmed it.
Yeah. Yeah, James Gunn said, yeah, we're gonna give him a bowl cut.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say. I do think it's interesting that the whole what do we call it? Because there was someone who had tweeted about it the other day about the how the ginger side community was very quiet. Of like the day Nathan Fillion, again, because that whenever someone who isn't ginger is cast as a traditional ginger character, and especially when they're black, people tend to get into their feels quite a lot. But now people are like, Nathan Fillion is the GOAT. I'm like, quite interesting.
Interesting.
No, quite.
Oh, quite. Sorry.
Quite interesting.
Quite.
But I wonder which Hawkgirl they're gonna use, because they didn't say that. They only said Hawkgirl. I'm just like, are we talking Shaira? Are we talking Kendra? Is she gonna be a barista like they always talk about?
I hope they just go full in on just like the Thanagar stuff. And
yes,
just, like, so I really think that like playing into this being just laying the foundation, we're not going to see too much of these characters, but I think we're going to get enough of a feel for them so that we can see them kind of branch off into their own projects if they're received well in this movie. Like, we know James Gunn has said, like, the core of the story is Clark, Lois, Jimmy, the Daily Planet, that type of thing. But just having these other characters being able to be established and possibly go further in their own projects, I think that's kind of the main goal here with casting so many extra heroes for Superman Legacy.
I agree, because these characters are literally going to pop up in like one scene. They could be the opening 5 to 10 minute action scene or something. Maybe this opens with an action scene of this, like, who knows, a villain that needs multiple heroes, and they join in on the fight, and then that's pretty much it, right? Maybe there's a scene later or something where they all kind of meet up again. Maybe there is a watchtower. We don't know. We don't know. There could be a watchtower, and we jump to the watchtower in the second scene after the fight, and they're there, and maybe there's like an idea or like hinting at some other characters, but we don't see them, but like we know there's other heroes around. You never know.
They're like, hey, Superman, can you join our Society of Justice? And then he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go do my own thing.
Nah, guys.
Defeats the villain, and then he's like, you know what? I might start my own team, but maybe make it more of a Justice League.
God, you're pulling a Fan 4 stick type ending. Like, it's like, no, guys. I'm thinking of, since I'm still young, I'm thinking Young Justice, and then wink at the camera. And then it pops up hashtag Renew Young Justice for season 5. They just look like
some product. I was waiting for that.
I had to. Any final thoughts on the topic at hand?
I kind of was hoping that Jimmy would have been the next casting, like,
yeah.
Because again, they're loving what they're doing with Jimmy on Jimmy on My Adventures with Superman. I'm just kind of like, come on, like it's like this is again. I mean, if they haven't tapped someone yet, okay, fine. But if they actually had someone locked in right before the strike, it's like you could have just shared that too.
Yeah,
because we haven't had a Jimmy on the big screen since what, Superman Returns?
Yeah, Superman Returns. Was that the brother of Iceman from the X-Men movies? I think the twin brother. I think
Not
I'm
sure.
right. I think
What?
I think it was the twin of Iceman from the X-Men movies.
That was in Smallville.
Oh, why am I thinking that?
Superman Returns was
He was
Sam
played by an
Worthington.
actor named Sam Huntington.
Huntington, there we go.
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
those things mixed up because I saw.
But you
images.
are right. His twin brother did play him.
Yeah,
But
okay.
both brothers were actually on Smallville.
Oh,
The funny thing is,
Interesting.
the guy who played Iceman, he played a villain in like the first season. Then 4 years later, his brother comes as Jimmy Olsen, and they just don't talk about the fact that this looks like a dude that Clark fought in his teenage years.
no, can't do that.
But you know what? Good effort, Jordan. If only
Yes,
you would watch Smallville. If only you would watch Smallville.
Now, within this endless multiverse, we have to go to the other end of the endless multiverse, on the other side of the pond, if you will. We're talking Marvel, and we're talking specifically Deadpool 3, which unfortunately is on hold in terms of production because of the strike. But we got our first official look at Hugh Jackman in the classic Wolverine suit, as you see in the image down there. Of course, we see this fighting image here where we actually see the claws in the mix. So cool. And we got the confirmation of Elektra, which is like the weirdest thing. But as we were discussing, I think last week, because we were all over last week in terms of topics after the backroll discussion, we had discussed the Jennifer Garner thing because, hey, probably because Ben Affleck's returning as Daredevil. That was rumored. It wasn't confirmed. Well, there's other rumors of, they're going to have Elizabeth Olsen as a version of Scarlet Witch. They're going to have a bunch of X-Men from the original trilogy cast, and Magneto's going to be involved. And there's like this, I read this thing of a supposed leaked script, and I don't believe it's real, but it mentioned how this version of Scarlet Witch, they're going the route of, where her father is Ian McKellen and Magneto. I'm like, okay, if this is somewhat true, this would be
I'm gonna be so angry if that turns out to be fake. Again, this is why I fucking hate the internet. I mean, again, because it would be cool if Michael Fassbender was her dad, but like, he's not old enough to be her dad.
So if they pull this off, just like a version of what I read or the leaked script, it'd be the greatest thing ever, because they're multiverse traveling. That's what they're doing. They're just traveling around and just like, supposedly, you know how the big bridge fight in X-Men 3, The Last Stand, the big bridge scene?
Yeah.
Sure.
They're doing a version of that supposedly in this Deadpool movie at the end. They're like, it's so funny. I think too, with the strike, they're going to address the fact that the strike occurred and they had to stop production of the movie. I feel like Deadpool, they're going to have to address it.
Oh my
That would be insane.
God.
I feel like they'll have to, because they were literally in the middle of shooting probably that action scene with him and Hugh. Like, so they're probably going to have to address, maybe at some point the fight like stops. Deadpool comes in, guys, I'll let you know there's a weird cut here because we had to stop. And he pulls out like SAG-AFTRA or whatever, like showing something. With all this coming out, like the 20th Century Fox logo buried in the sand, whatever that means, all this information, Taz, first of all, I see you wearing an X-Men shirt. Fantastic. Love it.
Thank you.
Thoughts on everything? Wolverine finally getting his suit, the fighting, Elektra, the rumored cast, all of it. What are your thoughts?
I am so excited. Like, this is now my most anticipated Marvel project at this point. Like, the fact that we see this classic looking Wolverine suit, we've got the yellow and blue design rather than the yellow and black design that they went in that deleted scene from the Wolverine. So I think that this is a much better look. I think overall, like, it is just ripped straight from the comic book, ripped straight from the animated series. The only thing I'm seeing a lot of, a little bit of backlash from, something that I wasn't a massive fan of when we first saw it, were the sleeves, but now we know that there's sort of a practical reason behind it, and I'm totally 100% okay with that. And I just think just Wolverine and Deadpool standing together in comic accurate, very bright, very vibrant suits just is a level of hype that I have not seen for a big Marvel movie since like Endgame. Like, I think that this is going to be like the biggest Marvel movie in quite some time, especially if these leaks are true, especially if it's literally like Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel universe. They're just traversing the multiverse, getting from the Fox universe to the main timeline of the MCU, and just crossing paths with all these other different characters. The 2003 Daredevil universe with the Ben Affleck Daredevil and the Jennifer Garner Elektra. What if they're, crossing paths with, maybe old Fantastic Four movies or, different X-Men movies, the Scarlet Witch rumors and stuff like that. I saw something crazy about maybe, she's going to fight Dark Phoenix, and I'm like, what?
Please.
I
Yes,
don't
I want
Which one
that.
of them?
just
Wait, which
give
one
me-
of them?
Thonka. Yeah.
Oh,
like literally give me
But
all
probably
of
a
that.
better version of that. A better version,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, of it. But still, it's
Yeah.
like the original
Yeah,
Dark
just-
Phoenix.
just like this whole just multiversal adventure. I'm so ready for it. I'm so excited. And again, like this is like the most hyped I've been for a Marvel project since, I would say, Endgame.
Andy, thoughts on all this? It's a lot.
well, you know how Annie likes to get thirsty sometimes. So I will just say what I said on a Discord call a couple nights ago. Because I was talking to someone about the suit, and I said, and I quote. YouTube, please don't give Lord a strike for this. I said, I've always wanted Hugh Jackman to fuck me, but man, I've never known that a man in yellow wardrobe could get me so turned on. Because damn, look at that. Jordan looks just like, fuck.
I it's fine. Hey, express how you feel, man, because the suit is phenomenal.
It is great. I don't know I wish I knew who the costume designer was. But it looks so good. I have a feeling he is gonna cut off the sleeves. Like I could see him being like, "Fuck these sleeves! Like I'm hot. Like this is too much. Like we're out in the sun, man." And he's just gonna cut them off or something. The thing we all know we want the mask. He needs to put on the mask. But if there is no mask, like
I
I'm
wonder
not
if
gonna be
Deadpool
angry.
destroyed it before this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he actually has, but Deadpool destroyed it? Or
Possibly.
something.
I'm kind of thinking what we'll see is like before they start their adventure, Deadpool, he has his new suit and everything, and he's like, Logan, you need a suit. And maybe they just like go through all the different designs and stuff like that. So maybe that's where we see the cowl, maybe that's where we see the sleeveless design, and then they just settle on this suit. They're like, all right, we've got a lot of elements and stuff like that. I think this is going to be the one that the fans will be happy with.
You know what they could do? Have you either of you guys ever seen Lois and Clark and New Adventures of Superman?
A bit of it.
Seen some clips.
So you guys have not seen the pilot, is what you're trying to say?
I don't think I've seen it. No.
No.
Okay, so they're in the pilot, when Martha's doing the suit, there's a montage where she's like going for different suits, and it's being played to the song "I Need a Hero," and it's like it's so iconic, that I kind of hope they do that for Wolverine, of like going through different looks, but listen, this movie sounds like it's going to be like one of the biggest Phase 5 films of all time. Like, this looks bonk. Like, when I saw the 20th Century Fox logo just lying on the ground, I'm like, every time I keep thinking they've broken as much as they can of the fourth wall. I'm just like, no, they're not even done yet. At this point, I'm just thinking, like, are they even going to comment on what they did on She-Hulk in the finale of her just, like climbing out of the Disney Plus screen or whatever? And so at this point, like, I hope he does. I mean, put She-Hulk in this movie. That would be fucking amazing. But yeah, with Elektra coming back, listen. Are we just gonna pretend that Ben Affleck isn't in this movie? Like, are we just gonna?
I'm pretty sure with that confirmation of Elektra, like you kind of can't have one without the other at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I look forward to see. Again, it sucks they had to stop filming, but yeah, the suit looks great. I do think that they're gonna have I do think once the strikes are over, there's gonna be like rewrites, and like they're gonna work in that strike with like we need a scene for 5 minutes when they're just sitting talking like the strike happened. We can't do anything. Like, that would be some of the most funniest shit I've ever seen in cinema of all time. Of like them just sitting talking like. Oh my God, I just want to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds improv. Just improv something. Just talk about like, man, Origins Wolverine like really sucked, didn't it? Like, Like, remember that day when they had to stitch your mouth? Like, I know. So, yeah, I wonder what Electro has been up to throughout all these years, along with Herb and her Daredevil, and if they're just gonna say, oh, Daredevil and Electro, they existed in the X-Men universe this entire time. They're just gonna say that it was the one in the same world this whole time.
That's interesting, yeah, because they could just do that.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's a rumor, and I want to hear your guys' input, or at least what you think. So there's a rumor that the Wolverine we're seeing here is obviously one of a few. Like there's a rumor of multiple versions, which makes sense. There's multiple versions of Deadpool rumored in this movie, but the version of Wolverine here that we're seeing is the same Wolverine connected to the Professor X that died in Multiverse of Madness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That could kind of play in, especially if the TVA is playing as big of a role as people say.
And
I know.
So is the TVA? Is this true with the TVA? Like, are they actually
I think
popping?
Mobius is in here apparently.
Yeah, and apparently the
Wilson.
woman who, somebody who was in Loki, who's the judge or something in the TVA's in it or something.
Okay.
Like there's somebody supposedly opening the movie where Deadpool's arrested because he's been messing with stuff as he does.
So, I wonder if maybe we'll get some sort of tease at the end of Loki season 2 this year, like how it kind of set up all the Kang stuff at the end of season 1. I want that would be wild.
I forgot Loki's coming out this year, so that's
unless they delay it, they could potentially delay it.
But how would they have known that? Because when they made Loki season 2, I don't even think there was a script for Deadpool 3 yet. So, like, how would they?
They might have been working on it.
Yeah.
Because who knows how long the script's been in development? Because the script's actually been in development for quite some time. It's just we didn't hear anything moving forward with it. And I think that was intentional because they were probably trying to find where are we going to place this? And can we get Hugh Jackman? Because Hugh Jackman's like, yeah, I was the one who called up Ryan Reynolds saying I wanted to come back. He had this idea, he wanted to do it. But who knows when that conversation actually took place, and who knows if they were actually writing a different story entirely with Deadpool without Wolverine in the mix. But I think the rumor of this version of Wolverine connects to that Professor X because Wanda killed Professor X, so that could tie in. Because
who did she not kill? Who did she not kill at this point?
I'm saying, like, since she did, that could make sense that she's part of the problem on the other side and everything, and working with Magneto and all that stuff. If that's all to be believed, it would make sense.
Maybe okay. So what if all the TVA stuff is playing into here, and like Deadpool starts by being captured, right? So what if like Mobius kind of assembles his own like multiversal squad to like go after Scarlet Witch possibly, and like that's why they're traveling the multiverse, because maybe at the end of Multiverse Madness when she has all the rubble and stuff fall over her, then she maybe like teleports to other MCU timelines and stuff like that. So maybe she's like causing havoc across the multiverse. Deadpool's also causing havoc across the multiverse, but they feel like maybe Deadpool and Wolverine are a lot more controllable and maybe can send them out and try and like kind of minimize the damage. But then we're going to still see like multiple universes like incursion collapse in on themselves.
I'm going to read a bit about the Wanda thing. So when 616 Wanda died, her spirit inhabited the body of 838 Wanda. However, the struggle for control damaged her mind, eviscerating the 838 Earth. As a result, 838 has been changed into a new world, House of M style, where Magneto, Ian McKellen, and now Wanda's adopted daughter rules the Earth, and mutants are the majority of the population. And then then comes in the whole the X-Men style, like the 90s design, which ties into this.
Yep. Comes
into play. And they're saying how, including... So, work for Magneto. There's some cast, the Mutant World from the Human Brotherhood made up some supporting characters, including Nick Fury, Jimmy Woo, Dupinder, and Pete from Deadpool 2. I'm not sure.
Dupinder.
Yeah, Dupinder. Yeah, they're saying as well as sympathetic mutants, Colossus, Yukio, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Wolverine. So it's possible. And then, of course, it goes into the whole thing about the different timelines and the bridge fight and X2 and Channing Tatum as Gambit. I mean, there's so much crap in this movie. But I think that this is, and obviously I don't think this is the whole thing. If this is true, I think that there's...
Wait. Where did this come from, by the way?
4chan. As all leaks come from.
Source, trust me, bro.
Yeah, so we'll see. But like...
Wait, can we wait? Let me ask you. Sorry, Jordan, but like...
What?
Who said that? Where does that source, trust me, bro, come from?
That's a meme thing online. I don't know. But the thing is, scoopers have been teasing this kind of stuff before this all came out. This like detailed description, but it could have been built off of those people teasing stuff. But ultimately, if even half of the supposed stuff that's in the movie is in this movie, my God, this is what Multiverse of Madness wanted to be and couldn't deliver because
this is what the Flash movie wanted.
I was about to say, like, it seems like the cameos that the Flash movie almost wanted.
Yeah, and the thing is, this movie is actually probably going to be successful, unlike the Flash, which just broke 260 million worldwide.
I have a feeling this could be one of, if
You
not
are
the
late,
most successful
You are
R-rated
fucking
superhero
late.
movies.
I think it'd make over $1 billion if it's as good as we're hearing it is, and if they keep doing shit like this with the accurate Wolverine, people are gonna be going in droves multiple times over that first weekend.
I just hope they don't reveal too much in the trailers. Like, I almost want them to drop one very vague trailer, tease a couple of things, and just let it be.
Well, you know they're gonna tease some big stuff. That's the thing. They're going to.
Well, the thing that sucks is that set photos are gonna. I mean, it's like once filming comes back, we know shit is gonna get leaked. Like, and this is what I hate so much that they always have to. Like, again, I know you need to film on location sometimes. I totally get it, but it's like it's all so annoying because like it would be great to just go into some of these things just being surprised.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why they revealed that picture of Deadpool and Logan early on in the day, because they knew people were going to get set pictures later on. Like, they got ahead of it and they were like, okay, here's a nice 4K image.
They were like Canagrass is gonna, he's gonna be there today, like,
yeah.
Even though they're not in Canada, they're but Canagrass is everywhere.
He is now Marvel Grass.
Jordan, are you frozen?
And it's having problems.
I heard Optimus Prime.
I think I heard internet problems.
Okay. Obviously, I'm still thinking that this is how they're going to bring Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm. Like, this will be where we finally see him as Johnny Storm. And then
that would be great.
And Ryan Reynolds will be like, "Oh shit, man, you look like Captain America." Like, he's like, "Who's Captain America?" Like, he's you, but with a different suit.
And then we could also have the Michael B. Jordan Human Torch as well, and just have both versions of Human Torch interact.
You look like the guy from Wakanda. Like, what's Wakanda like? It's a hidden kingdom in Africa, and you were the bad guy. But yes, are we ready to jump back to the DC universe for a second?
Am I back now?
We can hear you, but you
were frozen.
You were frozen for a second.
Jordan, you may have to turn off the camera for this one because that could be affecting your internet too.
On.
And now he's even more white than he is.
Yes. Thank you. I hate this crap. I really hate this fucking shit. I really hate it.
I'm so sorry. But we're gonna talk about the final Blue Beetle trick. God, we're gonna explain that fourth image in a second. We're talking about the final Blue Beetle trailer that has come out this week to promote the August release of Blue Beetle. And goodness gracious, this trailer was 3 minutes long, and it was delicious. Taz, are you here for the Blue Beetle Battalion?
Yes, I am. I am I would say I'm a proud member of the Blue Beetle Battalion, but I will not be eating that Blue Beetle burger that is 100% real and not made up.
You should.
No, I really did enjoy this final trailer. It is kind of sad that they labeled it as like the final trailer. I'm sure we might maybe get some like TV spots or something like that, but this showed a lot, and I know that that's kind of a criticism from a lot of people that maybe it showed too much. Like, we did get a lot more of the villain than I thought we would, which I believe is going to be Carapax, I believe is the name of the villain. It definitely reminded me a lot of like Iron Man 2 Whiplash, but it just seems like a very much so like a mirror villain, just an evil Blue Beetle in a giant mech suit pretty much. But aside from that, I'm very, very, very excited for this movie, and it just once again showed how good that Blue Beetle suit looks, and the fact that it is a physical, like, practical suit makes it just incredible.
Yeah, Fernando, but we still know that you were late.
Yeah, always late.
Jordan, your boy Zolo, your Miguel, he's thriving. He's
Yes,
thriving here. How do you feel about the final trailer?
it's awesome. However, I feel like they
No,
showed too
no.
much. I feel like they showed too much. I don't know though. I don't know, but it feels like they showed a lot. And the one part I think where I think they might have stepped over the line is having his mom question, "Is that my son?" Like that little. I feel like they shouldn't have showed that bit. I feel like they could have just cut that out. And the opening was amazing though, because he's like, huh, nothing. He's like, okay. So he had to jump off, and then someone pointed this out. I didn't even think about it, but just like it was cool visual. The burning of when the scarab takes over, like the burning effect, that looks really cool. This is the first time we're actually seeing the villain, right? In any of the marketing.
Yeah, I
No,
think
we
they
saw
were like
pictures of
in
Conrad.
Okay.
yeah, and then like I think in one of the earlier trailers, like if you like freeze framed it for like half a second, you could see the big
Oh.
old like mech suit somewhere in the background.
It's definitely interesting. I think it looks really good. I think Blue Beetle looks like, in terms of like the suit and everything and the actual like creations of different things, like the giant sword, it all looks awesome. So I have hope this is going to do well. There's people, of course, out there saying that, oh, it's projected to make 10 to 19 million opening weekend. I don't believe that for a second, because that's like early projections, and that's, the movie's still far ways away out. It's over a month away out. So we can't say for
But
certain.
also, we also got to remember, every movie has, every
Long
opening.
tracking.
Exactly, that's the thing. Like, because this film wasn't as expensive as The Flash was, so that's why, like, maybe it doesn't need to make $100 million in its opening weekend.
If it can make 40 to 50, that's pretty solid opening weekend, at least domestic only. I think that's pretty solid. I feel like, the movie is probably going to do well opening weekend, because that trailer, even though I feel like it showed too much, it was a really good trailer. Had a lot of cool stuff in it. And I think comparing it to the first trailer, they showed a lot more cool shit. Like that first trailer was a good introduction, and the horror side of the scarab first taking over. But now in this, it's like, okay, they're fully embracing. He goes all in, because we were like, how big is this movie? Now we're seeing all this stuff. Like, holy crap, there's a lot more going on here than we thought. And I think that's pretty good for the marketing, is that then you can show a version of this trailer cut down a bit in theaters and go, oh, that's what this movie is? Because that first trailer was like, looks like it's going to be like a really low budget movie, hardly things happening. But now it's like, oh, there's a lot of action. And it makes sense, because Zolo, he literally does most of his stunts on Cobra Kai. So yeah, so that's going to be a benefit for him.
That makes, that explains a lot, actually. That's only another reason why they got him. Not just for his amazing acting abilities, but like, they wanted a guy that could obviously do
their own stunts,
their own stunts,
and the physicality.
And it's like this is why I'm like, we don't need CGI suit. Like, there's some amazing costume designers out there that I'm like, we can make shit look good physically if we're just willing to. And this just this suit looks so good. Like, it looks really. I don't know who the costume designer is on this, but again, it's like the fact that he took, again, in the comics, the suit is, it's one thing to draw it, but it's one thing, to then do it in live. I mean, that's why, that's why I mocked the smaller version, because it just looks like like a box basically just painted blue. Sorry, but it does.
Very different budget for the suits, but that's a fair point. It looks so good. It looks like it's a CGI rendition of just pulled from the comics, but it's a physical suit that they actually made and Zolo actually wore. Because normally nowadays, the suit, if they get too fantastical, they don't actually wear it. It's a CGI. Because, like, for example, their version of Iron Spider from Infinity War, that suit does not actually exist.
Yeah,
but it looks like it does on Tom Holland.
But it's so fucking ugly. That's the thing that I'm like, we have to, and that's the thing. Like, I hate the fact that Holland was wearing his regular Spider-Man suit alongside McGuire and Garfield when they were filming it, but yet they're like, we have to put him in the Iron Spider suit. I'm just like,
Yeah, that has been my biggest issue with a lot of the like more modern MCU suits is like they make a nice looking physical suit, like all the Spider-Man suits and everything like that, like the Homecoming suit and like even earlier Iron Man suits were more practical than they became, and the fact that they covered up all of this, amazing costuming with CGI just to, even out some of the wrinkles and like make it look a little bit more uniform. I was like, I don't like that technique of cover up, I guess is the best way to put it. And the fact that Blue Beetle here is fully embracing that practical suit design is something that I love, and it just translates so well from page to screen. And really the only thing that it's missing obviously is like the animated mouth basically from Young Justice and from the comics as well, but I'm glad that they went without it because it would just be a little bit weird. And I still think without it, like even there's certain shots in the trailer that without the face actually making any like facial expressions, you can still kind of get a sense for what Jaime is feeling under the mask.
Yeah, and the fact that they actually did it, because people were thinking they weren't going to make a physical suit.
Yeah,
because it's so.
Well, I look like, for example, for people watching. So look at the first picture that Jordan point to the first picture. Yeah, look at that one, and then you look at the. Fuck! I hate this logic. And you look at this, like you can see that, like he is making expressions, and I love the fact that, again, like. Again, I never cared one way or the other if there was a mouth, but like the fact is like he's like. Like when he cuts open the bus.
And he's like,
it is so funny. Sure. I mean, we're not in the union.
We were saving that for the end of the episode.
but yeah. Let's talk about the burger for a second.
It does. It looks like the Injustice 2 costume. It does. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is really good.
I think this looks better than the Injustice suit.
Looks almost like a mix of the Injustice suit and the Young Justice suit, but make it practical.
Young Justice Season 5?
I'd say just like general.
Jordan, I know. Listen, I know you want it. I know.
Bring it back. Call up somebody and make it happen.
Once the writer strike's over, once the actor strike's over, maybe we can revisit the topic.
Yeah, because that's what's holding it back right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gotta just pay everyone what they need, what their fair.
Because they have a lot of character
hard work and
a lot of characters.
Yeah, exactly, and then they can get back to work on making the continuation of Young Justice.
A lot of detailed scripts for all the characters.
At least give us a final season, like because I don't know what Jordan.
Even a movie or something, just to wrap everything up.
Give me 26 episodes.
Wait? Was season 4 even 26 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. 13 and 13. Woo woo. So good.
But Jordan, let's talk about this burger for a second.
Okay. Love the burger. 10 out of 10.
So what happened? Because
made out of Smurfs. That's made out of Smurfs. Did you know that? The Avatar people from James Cameron movies? That's what it's made out of. Whoop whoop.
Well, okay, but so what is the story behind this burger? Because I didn't know that this was fake. I thought
so this is the beauty of the internet. So Neb, who of course is famous for a lot of things now, especially the Arrowverse thread that went on for fucking ever. Neb decided, along with several others, to start promoting Blue Beetle because Warner Bros. Discovery wasn't doing their job. And I think it's because The Flash was losing so much money. They were like, we're not putting any fucking money into marketing this movie because it's not going to make any money. They probably lost faith. So Neb pulls out that Burger King's going to have this blue burger. And then you see more posts later on of other people making where they're going to do, because you even sent me a thing about a Blue Beetle PlayStation 5 controller that is not real, but that's the same kind of concept. And I think there was like another thing too, where they were having like a blue, I forget what it was. I think it was like a blue pizza from Pizza Hut or something. Like it was disastrous. But this is all because people are trying to find a way to promote Blue Beetle in a unique way to get people like thrown off. Like, what the hell's going on? So with all that happening and Blue Beetle Battalion becoming a thing, and even Zolo even using it in his video he had actually posted, I think yesterday or this morning, about the strike and how you can't promote it, but he referenced the Blue Beetle Battalion that was based off of the marketing of Twitter and social media. That it got Warner Bros. Discovery to actually put out a trailer, but it all started with that fucking blue burger that people thought was actually real for a bit. So
there's. I need to find this blue pizza. You all talk among yourself.
My only question, right? How many Beetle bucks would a Blue Beetle burger cost? And would
5.
you get a discount if you were in the Blue Beetle Battalion?
Probably $1 off. Maybe. Did you find it yet?
Ew.
Did you find the pizza?
It looks so disgusting. I'm not even gonna do this to our viewers. However, what I'm gonna do, because you made a perfect segment, Jordan, about well, yeah, don't worry, I'm getting to it. So you were talking about Zolo's statement today about how he can't do press.
Oh god.
And what's the purple?
It looks
what are the purple fucking bits in it?
It looks like a blue brain from here.
Also, somebody edited a photo of a burger bitten into, and they put the blue within the burger, like the actual meat.
Well, did you see the Barbie burger? I don't know if that's real.
Oh no, probably not. Oh no, someone else made a photo called the Blue Beetle cheesy crust. So they took the cheese as blue crust.
Oh gosh.
It's so the cheese and the blue and the crust are blue. Oh.
Well, I wanted to. Go on.
But no, I'd say the only one that might work, a Blue Beetle Blizzard.
That actually would work because what like cotton candy maybe flavoring,
maybe, or like a blueberry, maybe like a blueberry ice cream. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be kind of fun.
Dairy Queen could do that.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, that's the one thing that wouldn't sound too ridiculous. Like Blue Beetle pizza, because didn't they try to do like a promotion of like a black bun burger or something for something?
Oh, it was the Spider-Verse burger. That's kind of weird. That was like where the origin came from. It was like a black bun with like red sesame seeds. And
I'm pretty sure people were having some experiences after the fact because of all the black dye in the fucking buns.
Yeah. No, that is definitely Blue One, the burger.
And thank you for the super chat, Amazing Whiphead. When fans did better marketing than the company. Exactly.
Oh, I was gonna say, speaking of what you were talking about with Zolo, I wanted to play this. So today he came out with a clip, a little video. It's 2 minutes long, but I think it's very important we listen to what you have to say for people who haven't seen it, because it is up to us now. We're now the ones who have to market the film, because Warner Bros. Can go suck my dick because they don't give two shits about this film clearly. So we're gonna let Zolo speak from here.
Oye, friends, familia, Sholomaridueña here, Miguel Diaz, Cobra Kai, and soon to be your Blue Beetle on DC's Blue Beetle coming out August 18th. I'm making this video to address the recent news in the entertainment industry. If you haven't heard, the actors are striking. We're striking in solidarity. SAG is striking in solidarity with the writers. First and foremost, I hope that the issue gets resolved swiftly. And with that being said, it needs to be solved in the right way. And the people who are asking for the right to live and work and thrive in the business should be allowed to and should be able to. And because of that reason, I won't be able to promote the movie throughout the duration of this press junket. We had so much great stuff aligned, and I really wish that we could get it to you guys, but we need to stand on the right side of history. And because of that, we're planting our feet in the ground. With that being said, this is a fantastic movie, and it needs to be seen on the biggest screen. It was so fantastic to get to film my first movie for IMAX and to work with such a phenomenal cast and crew. I cannot speak highly enough about our wonderful ensemble. I have to shout them out now if I don't get a chance to shout them out on the day of the premiere. How can I even start? Susan Sarandon, George Lopez, Elpidia Carrillo, Damian Alcazar, Bruna Marquezini, Belisa Escobedo, Raúl Max Trujillo. If I'm forgetting anyone, Elpida Carrillo, Adriana Barraza, Harvey Guillen, every single person in front of the camera, behind the camera, our shepherd, our wonderful director, Angel Malvo Soto. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for entrusting me with this role. And I'm so excited for everyone to be able to see it for the first time in the theaters. If you know of Blue Beetle, you're going to love the movie. And if you don't know, he's going to be your new favorite superhero. With that being said, I love you all, to all the supporters, to the Blue Beetle fucking battalion. Y'all are killing it. I won't be able to promote this movie, but you can, and we can together. It's time. Let's do this for the culture. Let's do this for the community. Let's do this for the opportunity for others. And more importantly, let's kick ass. I'm so excited. Muchísimas gracias for everyone. Thank you, everyone who has been a supporter. And we will see you at the theaters August 18th.
If y'all don't fucking see this movie, I'm calling y'all racist for the rest of your lives.
Look at that sweet. We've gotta promote this movie. Yeah. I'm already thinking about making trailers or something.
You're gonna make
fun
some
little
TV
teasers.
spots?
I'll make some teasers. I'll do one like how to make a Blue Beetle shake.
Okay, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Or like, just do like some fun things. I don't know. Just we gotta support this.
Hey everybody, it's Taz here to make a Blue Beetle shake. Step 1, you get some milk. Step 2, get some beetles, dye them blue, put them in the blender. Yeah.
How to become Blue Beetle. Step 1.
Find a scarab.
Jump.
Step 1, go find James Gunn. Step 2, convince him to give you a role. Step 3, convince him to give you a scarab.
Step 3, go get some karate Cobra Kai training.
Exactly. Go star in a show for 5 seasons.
Yeah, again, if y'all don't support this movie, I'm gonna be the most annoying person out there on the internet. Like, I will make you feel unwelcome on the internet. I need y'all to support this. That again, y'all are willing to see these mediocre Transformers and Mission Impossible movies with these white boys, but you can't support a brown brother when he's about to suit up and become one of the coolest superheroes of all time. This
also,
movie,
people need to realize too, this is our Blue Beetle for the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
This is him.
Well, you know what I'm calling it? I'm calling it as the prologue to the DC universe. Like, it's almost like chapter, like kind of like issue 0 before we get to James Gunn's DC universe. So, if you guys are willing to support all the other movies, again, how many mediocre? Oh boy. I'm sorry, Tom Cruise is hot shit. Since when?
Oh.
So I'm just.
He's speaking for himself, by the way. I don't have any issues with Cruise. I don't have any issues with Tom Cruise. I'm just saying.
Well, why did you join his Church of Scientology then?
I will. I'm joining tomorrow. Okay, so support Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna have a great show on Friday, July 18th. Not July 18th, August 18th.
Yeah, in a couple days. No, we'll be here. We will be here to discuss the movie and all spoilers. It'll be really, really good. So next up, we're talking about something me and Taz are so happy about, and actually, Andy had to convince me because I was like, "It's fine," because we have other things we had to talk about. It was fine. But
I had to beg and be like, "You don't want to talk about Star Wars?"
Yeah. So this came out of nowhere because we knew that we were going to be getting Blue Beetle. And we knew we were going to be getting, what was the other trailer? Wonka on the day that this came out. We're talking, of course, Ahsoka. Yes. Now, the trailer is so good. And I love the fact that they did open with Ray Stevenson, who unfortunately has passed away. They open with him, some great lines. Just like what Ahsoka say, I am no Jedi. We are no Jedi. Like referring back to that. We see our first official non-fucking leak from Star Wars Celebration, our first official actual look of Thrawn. And of course, we see Sabine with her haircut and that amazing poster.
Which one is Thrawn?
The blue Elon Musk looking guy.
Yes, the blue guy. I actually had to brighten up this image and the Sabine image over there under you, Andy, because they were dark from the trailer. So I had to brighten them up a bit. just so you can see. But in the Ahsoka,
So what does he do?
Thrawn's the bad guy. He's
but what does he do? Like
Grand Admiral Thrawn. I mean, last time we saw him in Star Wars Rebels, he was out in the unknown regions with a Rebels character called Ezra. They kind of traveled out there because of the Purrgil to kind of like get him out of the way because he was causing chaos, and that was the way to get him out of the fight. But it seems like we're gonna have two different teams kind of searching for something, and it seems like the Dark Jedi with Balin and Shin are going to be searching for the World Between Worlds to try to get Thrawn back, while Ahsoka and Sabine possibly searching for the World Between Worlds to get back to Ezra. I know that's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, and the fact that we heard Ezra a little bit in the trailer.
Yes.
I think Radical Z with the super chat, thank you. I think it's a decent comparison saying Thanos because he is literally the main bad guy right now. Yeah. Because now we're in the midst of Vader and the Emperor until he returns is gone. And then before we get to the sequel trilogy where we have the First Order and all that kind of stuff. Because people think, oh, is Thrawn leading the First Order? Is Thrawn the introduction to birth of First Order? No. He's basically coming back for revenge. He's really tied into this Rebels, the Rebel crew. Also, how involved Ahsoka is and all that. And I think it's obviously going to tie into bigger things with that Heir to Empire film Dave Filoni is going to direct with the Mandalorian involved, Boba Fett probably going to be involved. So he's going to be basically the big bad, the Avengers of the Star Wars universe, basically the Mandoverse, if you will, are going to be going up against. And it's awesome. It's really cool. And they're not having him speak in the trailers yet. They're making you wait for him to talk. Yes. I love the fact that the trailer didn't show too much, besides obviously some really cool new things, but not to the point like where you're seeing like major spoilers. Like obviously you want to show Thrawn. Right. You want to show that shot in the marketing. You want to show the Thrawn's there. And you want to highlight Ray Stevenson because people know he's passed and this is one of his roles. And he probably did a pretty damn good job. Now, here's something I want to ask Taz specifically about the trailer.
Yes.
They mentioned Anakin twice in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yep.
Twice. And you hear the breathing of Vader as well in the trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
Thoughts?
So, rumor has it that Hayden Christensen is in this series at some point. I think that comes with the World Between Worlds. That is like this mystical, somewhat Star Wars time travel. I know that there's a lot of controversy behind it. Like, people don't like the idea of time travel in Star Wars. And from the source himself, from Dave Filoni, the way he's explained it is that's not exactly what it is. It's kind of showing you a vision of all space and time, kind of like different ways things could have played out within the Star Wars universe, but the will of the Force always kind of gets you to your destination. Like, no matter what, if you were to go through the World Between Worlds, go back and change something, you're always going to end in the spot that you started. So there's a rumor that Ahsoka is going to be looking through the World Between Worlds, thinking about, what if she had done things differently? Sort of how in the trailer she talks about how she never finished her training with Anakin because obviously she had walked away from the Order and everything like that. So I think she's going to kind of try and see, like, what if I had stayed with the Jedi Order? What would have happened differently during Order 66? What if I would have tried harder to bring Anakin back from the dark side? What if I would have done all of these things? But I think it's going to show her in the end that no matter what, everything was meant to play out the way it did, and it will kind of all bring us back exactly where we started and kind of show, like, hey, the universe plays out as it should.
Yeah. Well, there's a rumor that there is another younger actor playing Ahsoka during these sequences. And I think what they may be doing is her looking back during the Clone Wars era, seeing that younger Ahsoka, maybe seeing what could have played differently. And I feel, even though they did kind of wrap it up in a sense, but if she's looking at ways to maybe fix things, we might see a different perspective of that classic Ahsoka versus Vader fight at the end of season 2 of Rebels. Ooh. And seeing where she might try a different approach during that fight. I think that'd be really cool. But ultimately, here's the thing. With Anakin being in this potentially, which we think everyone's saying he's in it. And the fact that he's like you're asking me about that shit because he's been asked, and he's like, oh, what? Like,
I don't know if I can talk about that yet.
NDAs, I can't do that. But it will then finally full circle, bring Clone Wars full circle, because Ahsoka wasn't even a thing during the prequel trilogy when they were made those films. And the fact that they created this character and had her involved and how important she was to the narrative, but she wasn't in the films at all. And they found a way to beautifully make it work. Yeah. But still, like, how did Anakin never address her in the movies? Because obviously they had to go back and retcon all that.
Right.
But now have Hayden Christensen, and even though it's not Ashley Eckstein because she only voiced her, but I hope she has a cameo in this somewhere. But having Ahsoka and Hayden Christensen as Anakin face to face, it's going to solidify all this years of storytelling in the Clone Wars show of like they actually did it.
Exactly. Like, even if it's just her talking to him as a Force ghost, even like kind of asking for advice, like, "Hey, Master, like there's some crazy stuff going down. I kind of need your help." Like, I think that would be great.
It's like, yeah, well, I threw my master down a shaft. It didn't kill him. No, what? No, nothing. He's like, nothing. Like, he already knows. Like, Emperor's not
somehow Thrawn returned. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Like, and Ahsoka's like, he's like, oh, I don't want to get into this. Apparently, he might have been a clone of himself. I don't fucking know. I can't keep up. Like, he's just getting like so flustered, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then Yoda pops in. "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not trying to break the fourth wall, but god damn, this is so frustrating." That'd be hilarious.
There was something else big in this trailer. I want to get your thoughts on it. So there's a lot of Sabine we see her with Ezra's lightsaber. We see her kind of referring to Ahsoka as Master. Mm-hmm. And she's, looking at the holograms of Ezra and stuff like that. It seems like she's exploring the Force, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, does that mean that she's Force sensitive?" And like, there's even a shot in the trailer where she's facing off against, I believe it is Balin's apprentice Shin, in that fight scene, and I think she like reaches out, like almost like she's like reaching for the lightsaber or trying to like force push or pull something. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they are hinting at some Force sensitivity there, or is it just she's kind of honoring Ezra's memory by using the lightsaber and maybe kind of exploring the Force and taking Ahsoka's advice as kind of like a mentor master figure?
I think it's a latter thing. I don't think she has the Force. I feel like it would have already manifested itself, but they also could retcon it to where she was embracing her Mandalorian side, or what she deemed as her Mandalorian side, that maybe she just never even attempted it. There's so many ways. 'Cause once she had the Darksaber within the series,
right,
that pretty much could be used as a way to set up her just wanting to use his lightsaber until they get him back. But they could reveal that she's Force sensitive. I don't think it's going to do, because some people are like saying if they reveal she's Force sensitive, that breaks the Rebel show. Like, no, because not everything that occurs in storytelling occurs in one form of medium. Like, we've seen in plenty of times where for example, the prequel trilogy of films had no Ahsoka, and all of a sudden Ahsoka is in the Clone Wars timeline. She's there, just not in the films. And they found a way, because all that years of time were between movies, that she could be there, and it makes sense. So realistically, yes. And that's not as big as introducing a whole new character in a timeline that wasn't there before. So having her, if she is Force sensitive, it doesn't break the character. I think it just adds more depth, because she's still trying to figure out who is she, right? Because the Rebels crew broke apart, and now she's being asked to come back, and we're finally going to go find fucking Ezra, and Thrawn is back. This is going to probably bring up a lot of emotions, and maybe that's what it is. The emotional trigger. Because as we know within Star Wars, and even within my adventures with Superman, what triggered his powers? That emotional rush of that car. So I bet they'll probably go, okay, if she's Force sensitive, it's this emotional brought back to, this time in my life that was a clusterfuck. Oh, we're going to go back to that. That may trigger something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I agree. I don't think that they are fully like setting up camp one way or the other, but they definitely want to, approach that question and kind of, throw that to the audience and say, hey, what do you think about this? And
Yeah, so Scott's saying, so the timeline cannot be changed. No, from what we understand, no. And that was part of the rumor of they were going to use the World Between Worlds to
retcon the sequel trilogy. Yeah, which cannot happen because that time travel does not exist in a Back to the Future sense in Star Wars.
And even if they were to do that, hypothetically, let's say Rey, right, in that new movie that they're supposed to be making 15 years later or whatever after the fact, let's just say they have Rey somehow get World Between Worlds. Somehow she gets there. If she was to go back to the events of The Force Awakens to stop Han's death, hypothetically, or maybe find Luke sooner or something, it'll still end up the same way it does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Kylo Ren will still, and then the Emperor still, I'm back.
What is this?
Dead. But the Emperor's still gonna be like, I'm on a fucking crane, and I am all the Sith. It's still gonna occur, just not exactly in the same way, but it's still gonna happen. So you can't save Kylo Ren, even though you give him a big kiss, still doesn't save him. He's still gonna die. The Emperor, and then you're still gonna hear all the voices of all the Jedi in Rey's head or in the stars or whatever the fuck. You're still gonna have Palpatine shoot lightning into the skies like it's a goddamn thunderstorm. That's also gonna happen. So even if she was to go back and fix it and say, "Hey, Luke, in episode 7, let's actually leave off the island instead of you staying here through episode 8, and let's get you off the," something's still gonna happen where he still has to make the choice that he ultimately makes on the island. He has to do it again. And Yoda will still pop up the same way, probably, right? Because Yoda's probably still going to be on the island going, get the fucking books. Which, by the way, they never address that in episode 9.
Sacred texts.
The sacred texts that they never really bring up ever. Like, they kind of address it in 9,
like,
but not
Rey
really.
Rey just has them, and they're like under the floorboards of the Falcon.
It's like... that'd be the one thing I would like them to retcon a little bit. How important are the texts? Well, if they're so important, save them from the fire before Yoda shoots a freaking lightning strike down. But they actually use them, and maybe they actually will. Maybe in the new movie, Rey will actually be using those texts. So maybe they will finally fix that problem, which is minimal amongst everything else. Still, we could probably spend all day talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a really good trailer.
It was. It did such a good job getting me even more excited for this. And I think just final thoughts, it's so great that a character like Ahsoka, who started off not as a fan favorite whatsoever.
She was hated.
And she has evolved over time into being one of the most beloved Star Wars characters in animation to now come to live action and have this series that has the potential to kind of like bring the Star Wars fandom back together, because it feels like it's very divided right now. But I feel like this is something that a lot of people can really kind of get behind, and the fact that Dave Filoni's at the helm, it feels like a Star Wars Rebels Season 5. Like, this is kind of what everybody has been waiting for, and I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, and to answer your question real fast, Andy, to my point, the first Clone Wars movie they did before the show came out was not received well at all by fans. It was a bad movie, and then that's where they introduced the Ahsoka character, who was really annoying. So people were just like, we don't care about the Ahsoka character. We don't like this movie. This is not good. The show had to basically fix things. Okay, now I lost my train of thought of the point because I was explaining all that. I had a point about what you said about the fandom. Yeah, so I think that they were hopeful that, Andor would be the thing, but the thing is, it was like it divided the fans again, because it's either you loved Andor, and if you critiqued it or said it really wasn't your cup of tea, people said that you were a child because you didn't like Andor. And it's like, I didn't finish Andor. I watched the first 3 episodes thinking I was going to review it or maybe react to it, and I honestly was like, I'm so tired, but I'm just going to watch the episodes. And I'm glad I didn't react, because I was really bored. I just didn't really connect with the show. And maybe it gets better as it goes on, but I
think the final few episodes are definitely the stronger portion of the season for Andor. But yeah, I definitely 100% kind of get behind that criticism of it. It's a very slow show. Like, it's definitely very character driven. It's not as much like an action heavy show or anything like that.
Yeah,
definitely more of like a world building, kind of lore fleshing things out type of show. But it seems like season 2 is going to be a lot more kind of action packed, leading into where we see him at the beginning of Rogue One.
And I know some people who've heard me say that before about I was invested. I've watched a variety of shows that have a variety of pace. It's just like for me, after watching 3 episodes back to back to back, I just really wasn't that invested in what was happening with Andor. Like I really just didn't really connect with it, and I really wasn't really caring too much about the new characters. But that's just me. And even the flashbacks, like, oh, okay, like this is kind of interesting, but it's just not for me. That's fine because the thing is, I have so much shit to watch that I've not watched that I want to watch, and it's impossible.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Star Wars. There's just so many different things for so many people to get behind, and I just like to find something that I love in each Star Wars project because I'm just a big Star Wars fan overall. If I don't immediately love something, there's still an aspect that I can find to get behind.
Yeah.
I have a few questions from watching this trailer. I haven't said anything about this trailer, so the girl with the pink hair looks very pretty. Who's that?
What's her name?
Sabine.
No, pink hair. Could that be
purple,
the girl?
Pink or purple hair.
Yeah, pinkish purple.
In the picture over here.
Oh, that's Sabine.
Yeah, that's Sabine. Yeah.
Oh, she seems badass. What does a white lightsaber mean?
She is no Jedi.
Yeah, it's also there's a meaning behind the crystal colors, but yeah, Ahsoka specifically picked white to not because see if it's green or blue, that's considered Jedi. Red, of course, is Sith. So her crystals are white.
Yeah, it's also I think it's from purifying a blood crystal. So I think she got those crystals from Inquisitors, and you purify. You purify a red crystal and it becomes white.
Yep.
Okay, who's the girl with the green tall things on her ears?
Hera.
Okay.
Hera Syndulla.
Okay.
And that is Ewan McGregor's new wife. Yeah, Elizabeth Winstead. Yeah.
Oh, Huntress from Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's her.
Okay. Why is there a red R2D2?
Oh, that's Chopper.
Chopper, the most dangerous droid in the galaxy.
He's a menace. He was just a droid on Rebels, and he is an ass. But it's so funny. He's done some of the stupidest things, but it's amazing.
I think I saw a video once. Somebody did like Chopper kill count, and like dude is just insane.
Yeah, the dude is literally a serial killer, but it's also amazing because you love him because he's sassy. He's sassy. Like Zeb will tell him something. He's like, it's like, oh, shut up. Like
he's me in robot form.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
That artwork that Sabine was looking at isn't that what it looked like in the show?
Yep.
That's
so the animators came back and they drew that for the show for this new show.
Well, at the end of Rebels, that mural was showed up, and we're seeing what you're seeing there with her touching it and turning around with her haircut in the trailer. Mm-hmm. That mural, that is exactly the end of Rebels. They're literally they're basically repurposing it in live action to show the timeline of when she's getting picked up again. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
what they're doing. Because essentially, this show technically is starting
slightly before that time jump. Yeah,
slightly before, and technically Vader, like he's still. I mean, Vader looked. I mean, I don't know how long by the time they get back to that point.
I'm almost thinking. So the fact that this is going to be a 2-episode premiere, I think by the end of that second episode will be post Rebels finale. Like I think we might spend the entirety of that first episode kind of in that like middle area between the two.
Yeah, so before Ahsoka meets up Mando and all that.
Yeah.
And Dave Filoni he created Rebels, so he's like there's no way that he can mess with the continuity.
Yeah. Well, and he created Ahsoka, so this is his character.
Oh, that's his character. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He co-created Ahsoka with George Lucas. Yeah.
Who's the girl with the white hair?
That's one of the new villains.
Yep.
That's working with Ray Stevenson's character down there at the bottom, and they're working for Thrawn. So
Thrawn is the
blue
guy with the red eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What can he do? Like, can he does he have the Force? Does he?
No.
He's just like a master strategist. Is kind of like his.
He's
big
basically
thing.
He's a general. He that's why he has like these kind of ex-Jedi. They're not really Inquisitors. There are Inquisitors in the show, but they're basically they're just working for Thrawn. They're basically working for the highest bidder, it seems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Ezra? Ezra is the brown dude, right?
Yep.
I can't find him in the trailer.
Yeah, he's that hologram.
He's in that little hologram,
Yeah, the little they're hiding him because he disappeared at the end of Rebels with Thrawn. So we're trying to find. I'm assuming Thrawn has him somewhere. Clearly,
I see how it is. The one brown guy in the show, he gets kidnapped. Okay.
Well, Ezra sacrificed himself
and kind of went out into the unknown regions with Thrawn. And there's a lot of theories about like what happened to them. Like, did Ezra kind of like dance with the dark side a little bit when they were kind of off doing their thing? There's also some ideas of like this whole like Night Sister magic and the character from Mandalorian. Was it Morgan Elsbeth? That she might be a Night Sister, and like kind of Thrawn might be learning basically just like space magic. So that could also kind of be maybe another direction for Sabine. Maybe not Force, but like Night Sister magic. Almost think like Marin from the Jedi Survivor game.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Wait, Jedi Survivor, that's the one that Cameron Monaghan is in, right?
Yep.
Okay. Could he show up in season 2, maybe? Is he alive?
He could. He could hypothetically show up.
Yeah, because I think this is supposed to take place at the same time as Mando season 3, from what has been said. Is like that's where the main timeline of this is.
I kind of just want someone to go back and edit and just like look at my face while these two are talking and like be like, I don't understand anything they're saying. I'm like, and I'm like, when you guys had dark sabers, I'm like, there are dark sabers in the Star Wars. Like, what the fuck is dark saber?
There's one. It's a Mandalorian. It's a Mandalorian weapon that was in Mandalorian season 3. Plug. But yeah, it's been around for a while. Well, they created it on a whim too, because like Dave Filoni was like trying to figure out something, and then George was like, "All right, I'll get back to you." He got back to him in a couple hours. Okay, we created this thing out of the dark saber.
That seems so George Lucas in a nutshell.
He was told that there was something in the plot of Clone Wars. We have to create something, and so George's like, "All right, I'll be back." In a couple hours later, okay, I have the dark saber.
Saber.
And then he had a whole backstory for it and all that. So literally, it took him no amount of time to come up with this iconic weapon that continues on into live action. At the end of season 1 of freaking Mandalorian, like, we saw the dark saber for the first time. So,
the trailer looks really pretty and a lot of fun. Rosario Dawson looks like she's kicking a lot of ass. I will try and watch this. I don't know if I can watch 7 seasons of Clone Wars and Rebels in the make of time.
Probably not, no.
But I thought the guy with the spinning lightsaber was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who do you think that is? Is it Barriss Offee from the Clone Wars? Is it Starkiller?
I know.
That rumor of Sam Witwer being in this show. I mean, that'd be amazing.
I think it's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
100%.
I don't think the ending is going to be Luke warning about Thrawn. I feel like that's not. No, I feel like that's.
Is Mark Hamill is he gonna show up?
It's not rumored. No,
we don't know. Yeah,
and it would be a CGI de-aged Luke. So.
I love that I get to be the one that I get to ask all the questions and just like I'm the one on the other side where people are like asking about comic book stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know shit, so let me just ask, like, like, what's that? Who's that? What's that? What does that mean? Like what? Like I keep forgetting that she has a white lightsaber. Why does she have 2, by the way?
That's her preference. Her style
that's just
preference.
her fighting style. And
can she combine like Darth Maul did in episode 1?
No, she has one that's longer and one that's shorter as well, usually.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Just a fun combat style.
Are we gonna talk about Ahsoka in this multiverse when it comes out like weekly?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to talk about it.
We'll bring Taz back for 6 weeks, and then you guys can explain like what the fuck any of this means.
Yes, we'll try our best.
Is it only 6 episodes?
They haven't confirmed.
I think it's 6 weeks, which would mean
7.
Like 6. Yeah, it's either 6 or 7 weeks. I can't remember. So it's either going to be 6 episodes or 8 episodes.
And this
but-
has a season 2 already.
No,
not necessarily.
This leads into the Heir to the Empire movie.
But it just
So-
depends on how long it's going to be.
I'm
before
assuming
we
there'll
get
be
to
a
that
season
movie.
2.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
So wait, so would that mean that Ahsoka is dead in the present?
No, she'd be old, but
But
in terms of
does her
Yeah.
species,
So
species-
no. Yeah, I think they live for quite a while. Number one, number two, she's got some weird timeline type of things too. Like she kind of skipped a bunch of time in Rebels with the World Between Worlds as well. So she's maybe a little bit younger than
World
you
Between
would think.
Worlds? That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
As
Well,
long as
you
they
can
don't
see
do the multiverse stuff.
all time and space at the same time.
yeah.
But this is just the one Earth. Or
No.
this is the
No,
one
one
universe.
Earth, the one that's it. No
Yeah.
multiverse. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
one linear timeline.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into the final topic, which we are officially in another strike. The Writers Guild of America strike has been ongoing, and as of this week, the SAG AFTRA strike has now officially commenced, and people are making choices to say. People are coming out and saying things that I'm questioning, like why the fuck they would say that, Bob Iger. And this has been my reaction to what the Hollywood executives have been like supposedly saying about how they're waiting to drag this out until people start losing their houses. This is my reaction to
Go
it.
take a flying fuck on a rolling donut.
I don't know where that clip came from. But
That's from Shameless.
I thought you were gonna play that's a big pile of shit.
No. I'm telling Bob Iger to sincerely kiss my brown hairy ass, because my fucking god was I furious when I read his comments.
And it's strange because he is the CEO a lot of people actually like. And he's the one coming out and saying these things the day of the strike commencing.
I wonder, like, and I mean, I don't think they did the interview the day of, but I think like they really picked the poor timing of like releasing it. But like,
It's just a horrible situation. Like there are so many talented writers and actors that are not being paid their rightful salary and not being respected and appreciated for all of the hard work that they do. And just to see all of these companies kind of like brushing this strike off to the side and are like, oh yeah, we'll just let it go as long as it takes. And it's like, these are real people with real lives that have devoted it to making content for the entertainment industry. And it's just sad to see from the outside looking in, as somebody who's definitely interested in acting, writing, directing at some point in the future. It's just sad from an outside perspective looking and seeing like how these people are treated in Hollywood.
y'all made the nanny angry, y'all. Like y'all made the nanny angry.
Yeah.
When
It's a shit show. That's pretty much what it is. It is a shit show.
That is one big pile of shit.
Literally, because they're so far off on a deal on both the writers and actors deal, like in terms of what they want. Because as I was mentioning to the guys before the show started, and supposedly, I don't know if this is confirmed, supposedly Disney is the one who submitted this idea about AI in terms of scanning someone's likeness for one day's pay of work and then using that forever in perpetuity with no consent and no compensation, no pay to use that scan of an individual for a background actor. That's what they want to do. They want to pay you for one day of work, and then they don't have to ever have to use you ever again. And there's reports coming out saying that studios have already done this and given out before the strike, whatever, gave out these forms, and people weren't really reading them, and they were getting scanned, and then realizing after the fact, oh, that scan is also could be used without then using me later on. They scanned me. it's a disaster because now Hollywood is shut down. Directors can't work. They got a deal, but they can't do anything. I like that Christopher Nolan, of course, director of Oppenheimer and all the Batman trilogy, of course, the Christian Bale trilogy, he had said that he's not going to make another movie until the strikes are done. So I'm glad that he's not going to work on anything until both strikes are over. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like there's not going to be a deal made for quite some time on both ends.
I do feel that this will be over by the end of the year, because I think that because at some point these studios are going to run out of content. Yes, you have there's because look at it. There's a reason why we started seeing a lot more posters and trailers and so on this week. It's because they're freaking out. And I'm happy they are, because these CEOs that are making millions of dollars every fucking year for barely doing anything, and especially to all a lot of these old white men that are just sitting their asses and bitching and complaining about that people are making too high demands, again,
Take a flying fuck on a rolling donut.
It's that's the nice way I can put it, and so I think this will be over. I think this will be over by the end of the year. If this goes into 2024 somehow, then you can best assure you forget about something like Superman Legacy. That's gonna get pushed off. So it is, and I don't understand how are we still living in an age where it is this unfathomable for them to realize, oh shit, we should actually pay them. And when they're saying, oh, they're demanding too much, God, I feel like, why the fuck is someone like David Zaslav making I don't know, $150 million a year? What are you actually doing, David? What are you doing, Bob? What are all these fucking people doing when it's the writers who are busting their asses off and having to deal with both studios and networks and what have you, and then actors again who especially during these last couple of years have filmed during a pandemic and risked their lives. It's y'all, it is 2023. We should not be having this argument. You should be paying them what they fucking deserve.
Well, this whole thing about CEOs, it came out saying about Bob Iger makes between $20 to $40-something million per year. I get it. Hey, you're running one of the biggest companies in existence, but he's not
doing it alone. He's not doing it alone.
But the thing is, he doesn't need that amount of money because they gave him the position, but he could because they also get bonuses, right? Those bonuses could just go to other places or they could put that into a safe or a fund to fund projects where they pay the writers, pay the actors, instead of using that bonus to pay CEOs who don't actually do the work. They make the decisions, but they're not the ones writing on a day-to-day basis. They're not on set. They're just sitting in their office and doing meetings. They're not actually doing anything to actually make the products. That's the difference.
I just think for whatever reason, these CEOs, these higher ups, don't see the importance of the writers, the actors that are working for them, and the fact that without them, they would not be in the position that they are. Their studios would not be making the money that they are without the content. And I think that that's kind of the point that we're going to have to get to, sadly, is this is going to have to continue to the point where nothing new is getting done, nothing new is getting made. These studios will then be at risk of losing large chunks of money, and then they will realize, hey, we need to actually, pay our writers and our directors and our actors a proper salary so that we can, have a nice, healthy working relationship.
And if that means you pay them better on the front end when they're filming the projects versus the residuals on the back end, because streaming, it's a whole set of worms in terms of how do you pay somebody if they're not on? Because if the majority of people on streaming services are not paying for ad tiers, which wasn't a thing before this last couple of months or so, then pay them more up front. Pay the writers more up front. Maybe they still get a residual check that's better, but at least they're getting more compensation up front for working on a project, and then get some residual stuff. Same thing for the actors who are there as background or whatever, or they get a guest star role or something. They get paid more up front. The thing is too, what's going to happen because it was announced that House of the Dragon season 2 is still continuing because the majority of the actors are not under SAG union. They are under like international type deals that are not affected by this. So what this is actually going to do is this is going to bring forth and give more attention to international content that is not affected by the strikes. So that means that people are going to start gravitating towards international shows that are maybe like more recent or brand new that are coming out that normally you would probably never watch because there's other stuff to watch that you're gravitated to. But if it's not coming out, you have to look for other things, whether it's old content or if you're looking for something new. There are international products being made that are not affected by these strikes. So that's going to be the big thing too, because these studios, they're not going to benefit from the international content, but the international studios will, but they won't. And I think it's something like they're losing about a couple $1 million per day. The studios are each day that a strike is happening. So they're losing money right now. And we're not talking about Warner Bros. Discovery and the Flash's box office. We're talking about just in general the strike situation. So I'm happy this is happening because this needs to wake everybody up because there's still people out there. Who cares? Get a real job. Okay. If they weren't working on these shows, you wouldn't have your entertainment to watch. I don't watch TV. Bullshit. Everybody watches TV. Everybody watches movies. If these people are not being paid fairly, you don't have content. You got to you got to go back to listening to the radio and reading books. You don't have all this luxury shit now. Like that's the way it is. You want to go back to the fucking times before electricity? Because that's what could happen. Because if the strikes continue to keep going forward and they can't come to a deal, Hollywood will collapse. Because eventually they will have nothing to continue keep. So studios could potentially shut down in the worst case scenario. Studios could literally shut down and be done because they can't afford it anymore. So if you want to keep your livelihoods going, CEOs and people who are working on that side of the aisle, you guys need to come up with a better solution and understand AI is not your solution. AI cannot. There was a thing that came out on Twitter. I responded to it. This guy was making this bold claim that I can give you AI scripts that I wrote in 2 days. And he put this thing out publicly available. It's like this horror doll type story. And the first couple of lines between this 11-year-old girl and this therapist through AI is uncomfortable and very bland and basic writing. Because it's AI.
He wrote a script about his own mother?
Yes, no, but it was AI. It was an AI script that he said he wrote, and it's horrible. It's horrible dialogue, and it's like this is why AI will never be able to actually, even if it got better, it still won't be the same because people will go, that looks like AI. If people even made that joke now, looks like that show was made with AI. Looks like that movie was made by AI, because people are just seeing that now as the new thing. But
I have a couple of clips, by the way, I want to play from Fran Drescher. So for this one that went really viral yesterday.
I cannot believe it, quite frankly. How far apart we are on so many things. How they plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs. It is disgusting. Shame on them. They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't have more than $500 in an emergency.
It's crazy shit. And the fact is, they don't care. The other side does not care. And the thing is, they will not start to care until they literally are looking at their lineup coming up for the rest of the year in 2024 and realizing we have nothing. Because they can't keep holding out and releasing stuff too. That's another thing. If you don't put out something in theaters like Blue Beetle, you potentially are losing out on more money because you're not putting out the movie. And we had heard.
I had one more clip I just wanted to play. Where they talked about how some of the conversations went.
And how do you find a middle ground?
You know, we can't be stonewalled. You have to counter. Otherwise, you know, if they say we're not going to do that, we're not going to talk about it, we're not going to entertain it, that's not a negotiation. Sorry.
Well, I mean, they haven't even been willing to talk. On the last night of negotiations, we said we're ready, willing, and able to continue talking with you. They said it's going to be a while before we have any interest in talking. So the fact is, we remain ready, willing, and able to talk. But how is any negotiation going to proceed unless the other side comes to the table?
Woo!
I want to know who that guy is.
He works at Saga, I believe.
Okay,
I think he works with her.
Yeah, because he's the guy who mentioned how the groundbreaking AI scanned for a day of work and all that stuff. Like, he was the one who pointed that out. Taz, thoughts?
I just think it shows the flaws in the entertainment industry at the moment. Like, I remember seeing something about how just certain media has been like removed from streaming platforms, and then that obviously affects the residuals paid to the actors, the writers, the directors, and everything, and things can just be removed really without warning now. I think like the latest one was Marvel's Runaways just got pulled, and that just causes not only, you know, a just hitch in the, you know, watching process for viewers, but also obviously everybody that's involved in the creative side of things, then those residuals don't get, you know, rightfully paid out and everything. And I think hopefully this is going to lead to a much better state in Hollywood and a much better, you know, working environment for actors, for writers, for directors, for everybody involved, and show just how just greedy these large corporations have been recently.
Because and this is what I don't understand is that, this is why I think piracy is going to go up even more now. With the loss of digital media on streaming service, this is why piracy is going to go up. And then these companies are going to sit there and be like, "Oh, why are people downloading illegally? Like, I don't understand." Like, again, it's like it is. I don't get it. I don't get how we're in these times.
Because people are greedy. People are greedy, and they don't care. All they care about is their profits. And I think what has literally changed everything, besides AI, which is like a more newer thing, is streaming services. Because before, and I followed this guy on TikTok for a while, and I don't know if obviously I don't think right now he's posting videos about this, but he would post about his residual checks. He was a writer on a variety of shows back in the 2000s or so, and so a lot of them would air on the networks or whatever, and they would be syndicated. So he would pull out his checks, and it's like, okay, I got paid $300 something for a variety of episodes of this show that I worked on, and then I got paid like $20 for like a rerun of this episode. But with streaming, that's not a thing because there's not ads. Now, obviously, you can pay for ads on Netflix. Hulu's always had ad-supported stuff for a while. They're adding, of course, ad-supported stuff to other services, and so that's a new thing. But for the longest time, these services did not have ads at all. So how do you without, because they don't want to reveal the actual numbers of how these shows and movies are doing on streaming, but how, okay, and this is the side of the evil overlords about this. How do you go about the residual thing when literally all we're relying on, especially like Netflix, is subscription services, like the subscription payments per month? How do you then dictate how that gets put into residuals? Obviously, looking at the analytics, yes. But apparently they brought forth analytics, and the other side said we're not going to listen to this. And like the SAG actors, like they brought forth on their side of the argument. Okay, here's analytics to help with residuals because we want more residuals. Here's an expert, a company that ran some numbers. Here's how we could look at analytics. Instead of them actually going, oh, okay, let's look at analytics. They said, no, we don't want to look at that because Netflix, from what we're hearing, doesn't want to pay residuals at all.
Yeah, I heard from I saw that Sean Gunn today, because before he was became famous for the Guardians movie stuff like that, we knew him from Gilmore Girls, like I didn't watch the whole show, but like whenever I would watch, like he was one of the standout characters, and he talked about that he's never received any residuals for Gilmore Girls, which is streaming on Netflix, with one of the biggest shows of all time for them. So it is again, all these studios, all these executives. I have one message for you.
Take a flying fuck on a rolling donut.
The reason I think this is so funny is because, again, the first time I heard her just screaming, I'm like, I don't even know what this means, but it is so funny. Like, just saying, it's just my weird Andy humor. But, gentlemen, are we ready for Q&A?
Yeah, let's do some Q&A. Get some people's thoughts in here. See what they think about all this mess. I think there was one super chat I did miss. Radical Z during the Deadpool segment. Thank you for the super chat. Deadpool should just cut to the film to credits 5 minutes and saying, sorry guys, we had to stop filming for a bit. I'm so hyped for this film. I mean, that's kind of what we were saying too, is that, that'd be kind of funny, like addressing I think they will address it. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that they are a project filming amidst all of this craziness, it would be kind of a missed opportunity not to just like throw it in there as a joke.
Yeah, so I saw this. I want guys' input on this.
No,
it came out that Secret Invasion had a budget of $212 million. Thoughts?
That is a
for what
big budget
movie. Yes,
budget.
That is more than a lot of Marvel films, and that's for a TV show that will not get a digital release for sale or a Blu-ray release. It's only relying on subscriptions per month to get the money back. $212 million. They could have spent that on a Marvel movie or two if they wanted to cut budget.
I just don't see where it's
two
going.
Ant-Man movies. More than two Ant-Man movies.
I'm enjoying the series, but it's because it's like a very grounded, like character study, spy thriller type of thing, not like a big bombastic action CGI heavy thing. So I'm just not sure where that budget goes into unless Sam Jackson just costs a lot to hold down for 6 episodes.
We also have Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke.
Yeah. Well, apparently Samuel L. Jackson was $20 million to get him in the show.
Wow.
Supposedly. But so the 212, I could understand that budget if you would have told me, or if they would have done the What If series, the season 1 we had, if they did that in live action. Just all the episodes just live action form. I could see that being 212 million total. But
212, what a random number to end it on. It's like usually you're like 220, 250, something like that. 212. 212 and 59 cents.
Shelter, I'll give it to you. Q&A. Ask us questions or we'll fucking leave. He said he wanted it. So, okay. What do you want to see in Superman Legacy or the DCU? I mean, I want to see new things. That's what I like about the casting. See, Hot Girl, we haven't had Hot Girl since Arrowverse. We haven't had Metamorpho. Like, that's a unique decision. Miss Terrific since Arrow, yeah, but like ultimately he's a very underknown like character. Like, I like the fact that we're getting introduced to new characters and the fact that it's going to be different.
By the way, we just had some Comic-Con updates. Legendary Entertainment have canceled their Hall H panel.
Apparently, it was going to be a surprise Dune Part 2 panel. It's not good. They were going to show footage too.
So for people wondering if we're doing a special Comic-Con live stream next week, no.
Comic-Con's next week? I didn't even know.
I was just like, it's coming out at some point. I don't know when it is. But...
Like, I know it's probably end of July, but I didn't think about, that's getting close. Because it doesn't matter. No one's going to be there. And now it makes sense. No one could be there now. Because even if James Gunn wanted to go out there, guys, GCU, here's a picture of our cast because they can't be here. Like, it'd be so pointless. Like, the only thing he could really do is go, hey, here's a director for The Brave and the Bold. Here's Andy Muschietti. Woo! Can't talk about the movie though because we don't got a writer, and we can't talk about cast because we can't cast anybody right now. That's about it. Oh, here's a picture of Jimmy. Here's our actor for Jimmy, and they show a picture. Right? They don't bring him out.
But he couldn't be here. He couldn't be here.
Yeah, we signed him. We signed him at 11:59 before the strike. We got him right before. It's like, I don't know. It's just dumb.
Yeah, I think the fact that we haven't had like massive Comic-Cons in the last couple of years, the fact that this Comic-Con has kind of slowly devolved into being just kind of, just your standard like comic
comics.
It's just it's just a standard comic convention. Like we're not going crazy on movies, on games, on TV shows, anything like that. I do really think the future of these conventions are going to be things like Star Wars Celebration, like DC Fandom, like Disney's D23. I think that's kind of the future of where we're heading, and Comic-Con's not going to be as big of a factor with, announcing new projects and stuff like that. I would hope that maybe once all of, the writers and actor strike gets settled and stuff like that, maybe we'll see the return of, say, DC Fandom, especially because there's just so much to talk about. So much to reveal, so much to announce going into the new DCU.
It's also nice that we don't have to like travel anywhere again. Like just everyone can be able to because look at how so many people are now traveling across the world for Comic-Con again because it's better to go to Comic-Con than having to pay for again they can't cancel it. It will just be too much.
Yeah, they are. Spider-Man 2 does have a panel. I think the actors can be there because I think what came out from the SAG-AFTRA Twitter account was that things you can't do during the strike, things you can do. And it said that video game performance can be, because it's not, on camera acting per se. So I feel like they can still do Spider-Man 2. They can still bring the cast. They just cannot talk about on-screen work, on-camera work. They can't. They have to stick to the game specifically. So do you think Blue Beetle will do well in the box office, or will it feel like Flash? It all depends. It all depends on the quality of the movie, and it really just depends on, are Cobra Kai fans going to support the damn movie? That's one of the biggest factors.
Yeah. Listen, if they want their season 6, I'm because if they don't see this movie, I'm gonna make sure that you don't get your season 6. Yep, that's I'm gonna destroy all your Netflix accounts. Yep, there you go.
I think it's gonna really boil down to word of mouth, just like the fans promoting the movie where the studio can't, and kind of just showing that, hey, this will be a fun time, and just kind of getting fans to go out and actually see the movie in theaters instead of waiting for streaming or for digital or anything.
What's also helping is that they're not showing cameos of DCEU characters, the standalone story. That's what's going to help it, because I think that's what kind of was hurting the Flash a bit, is that even though there are a certain amount of fandom that likes Ben Affleck's Batman, but people look at, there's other people on the other side that didn't like BVS, that didn't like the Justice League theatrical cut, maybe didn't see the Snyder cut, all that. There's a lot of people probably who haven't seen it, and they look at it as a bad thing. It's like, well, why do we want to go see that? And that's the same Flash for that, because Justice League, we saw how badly that performed overall at the box office when it could have been an easily $1 billion film. There was just a lot of sour taste in people's mouth after seeing those number of films, where people, if they didn't like it, then they weren't going to support it. It's not a hot take, Big Bang. That's pretty much accurate.
Yep. Titans did a better thing than the Flash movie did.
Yep.
I feel like Blue Beetle's barely marking the movie because they want to see what the budget. Well, I think it's just Warner Bros. Discovery just doesn't want to put a lot of marketing into it. I feel like that's what it is, because they put $150 million in marketing into the Flash, and that does not include any of the budget, which is over $200 million. They put $150 million in marketing, and look what happened. It's one of the biggest flops of all time in movie history. So they're not going to put a lot of marketing. The only reason why they put out the trailer, I think, is because of the strike coming up, but also the fans were blowing it up on social media. So let's be a part of it, right? Let's try to ride the wave. And people saw immediately they were just doing it just because of the fans doing what they weren't doing. So,
and again, you've all supported so many mediocre films that it has, all these white dudes just doing the same shit they've been doing for the last, 50, 60 plus years. So if you all can waste money on that shit, you can actually waste money on something new, something special that happens to have a brown dude, because you all fucked up with Black Adam.
Is that a dig at me because I've been reacting since 2014? So you're calling me an old white guy who's been doing the same old thing? I know what you're doing.
Jordan,
I know what you're doing.
I know what you're doing. 1 year younger than me.
I'm 1 year older than you. I'm older than me? I think I am. How old are you?
I'm turning 30 this October.
I'm already 30. I've been 30 since last year.
Okay, so you don't fall into this demographic, Jordan.
I'm an old white man.
Stop inserting yourself into the conversation that doesn't belong to you.
It does. I'm an old white guy.
Nope. Stop it. You're on a timeout. We have fun here, but no, exactly. Like, listen, if y'all could, again, how many of these fucking Transformer movies have y'all gone and seen? But it's got like, I don't know about Blue Beetle. It's like, again, I'm gonna call y'all racist if you don't see it.
I'm saying it opening night.
For me, it's the fact that it's a comic book movie already has me invested.
Has you not supporting it? I don't support any of that nonsense.
Did y'all see that Ron Perlman got really
Hellboy? Oh, he's fucking pissed. God.
Nanny is pissed. Agent Cole's in his
yeah. Like when Clark Gregg tweeted out responding to Bob Iger's comments, I'm like, that's gotta sting. Because like he worked for that fucking guy for so many years, and he's like, what they're asking is unreasonable. It's like, ouch. And also, too, if you're currently working for Disney and you're an actor or a writer and you have a job that's now waiting till you get back from the strike, how do you continue working under Bob Iger after he is saying these things about what you're asking for is unreasonable in the current status of the industry? It's like, I'm sorry.
Your mother giving birth to you is the most unreasonable thing at this point.
It's like, just cut your fucking salary in half and pay the goddamn people.
Jordan is going to be so angry at me after tonight. He's going to be like, Eddie, you can't say those things.
At this point, I don't fucking... You can't.
We're not going to get demonetized for that.
I'm going to get a call from YouTube, the president of YouTube, saying, look, this Andy guy, he's too fucking crazy. It's either him or your channel. And I'm going to have to say, well... I'm gonna need a new co-host.
Wow.
And his name is Andrew, and it's gonna be you with sunglasses on.
Or just the Marvel disguise hat.
Oh my god, a Marvel hat like Kevin Feige. He's wearing a Marvel hat. Just like, hi guys, I'm Andrew. Wink. Oh, yeah, this is true, too. It's crazy how these actors are in the right to be mad at Twitter trolls. Exactly. Because there's people going after Sean Gunn for attacking Netflix and shit. Like, he should be going after his fucking brother for... Like, first of all, his brother isn't in the...
But his brother isn't even the problem here.
Yeah, well, James Gunn doesn't even have a say in what the fucking deal is because his boss is the one who's actually a part of the deals. David Zaslav. James Gunn has no say-so in what actors and writers are going to get paid. That's not something he controls. He's just controlling the creative side. Cost-cutting measures.
First of all, Susan is gone, so y'all are good.
That's fucking funny.
But the thing is, listen, like, I'm tired of having to stay polite to these fucking Hollywood people when all they do is keep, spit. I have such wonderful friends who work in these various positions as, producers, as writers, as actors, and so on, and they have to go through so much shit when then Bob Iger has the audacity of being like, they're being unreasonable and so on. It's again like I'm wondering if David Zaslav is just sitting at home right now, being like, people are mad at him. They're not mad at me for once. They're mad at a different white man instead of me.
They did get mad at him because what's his fucking name? The guy who runs Blumhouse, Jason Blum. He posted a photo of him and David Zaslav on a shooting range the day the actors went on strike, and he deleted the photo because like, oh fuck, I screwed up.
That is so fucking dark,
and that's also so very white. I know what you were gonna say it because like shooting range, white guy, typical.
No, that's not. No.
I know what you were thinking. This is a good question. Do you think they will cancel DC animated stuff like Tomorrowverse and My Adventures Superman in favor of DC animated projects?
They're making money.
Yeah, and they've already said they're doing Elseworlds. If they
Right.
cancel Tomorrowverse and My Adventures Superman, you got to cancel Harley Quinn. That's not connected to DCU. It's got to go. And James loves that show. He was on it. So no, as long as it's making money,
Yeah.
they're not going to cut it.
And there's such a long time too before we really get into like the nitty-gritty of the new universe anyway, so it's great to have these kind of like adjacent projects that aren't fully connected, that are established already, that are, you know, in the fan base, that people are enjoying, that people are tuning into. So why get rid of something that's already successful in favor of something that you still need to establish?
Yeah, and this whole thing about...
I just saw the photo of them,
what?
them making the shooter. I'm like, guys, this is so fucking dark. It's almost like we're just practicing for some reason.
Never know. People are fucking crazy. But the idea of like, so what Scott's saying here is about Captain America 4 Wrapped. Yes. However, 99% of the time, the film will not be able to be completed because they didn't do reshoots, which they always do reshoots in these movies. And number two, they do ADR in post. They cannot do this. So the movie, even though they wrap filming, it can't release until the strike is lifted.
I'm so excited that these studios are going to start suffering. I'm like, because like we know we're going to win. We're going to win. It's just when will we win?
Yeah, and the ADR sessions are also written lines from writers. So that's also another problem, because when they go to ADR, they do obviously redo the lines they did on set. But if they have to like cut away for a reason and have a character say a line that they didn't initially say on set, can't do it because it has to be written.
Yeah, all these projects are just going to be in purgatory for a little while.
This is how I think the actors and writers are looking at when it comes to fighting with these studios. So.
I'm 10 steps ahead of you, and you haven't even figured out what game we're playing yet.
We all know how this is going to end. They're going to get what they deserve and what they want.
I think it's going to be a compromise, but yes. Ooh, thank you so much, Stranger, for the super chat. David says that Jason Blum was on a shooting range and then his post gets deleted. I think David said took out the axe and wrote off Jason Blum right down. That is amazing.
Y'all don't fucking hold back.
God. Also, Mr. Terrific, cool.
Yeah, they're cool. Because the thing is, the last thing people want to see, these studios are going to want to see is these type of reactions where, when content stops coming in, they don't want to start hearing people going like this.
Fuck! What the fuck? God damn it! Wait, I'm trying to think. I think that was
Saboteur. It was a Saboteur.
Yeah, it was the episode before the Saboteur reveal where Frost is looking and it just shows her and the camera doesn't turn. She's like, "What do you want me to do?" And I'm like, "What the?"
That is a throwback.
I was so mad. To that goddamn beanie. I was so angry.
What's that?
We'll bring the war.
That is the SAG and Writers Guild coming together. Like, we will bring the war to.
We'll bring the war.
I love Red Death so much.
And what's so funny too, the CW, I guess at some point this week or whatever, reiterated their 2024 lineup. That is not guaranteed, That is not guaranteed.
No, every release date now it should just have an asterisk next to it, just like
or it should be coming soon or announced, right?
It's like to be determined.
They're just gonna do reruns of some of Riverdale's best episodes.
That means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football, but you will.
The fact that these actors were able to stand around, not break character as he said these dumb lines.
Do you have the clip of Reggie? I fought a bear.
No, I was pulling random clips at one point and I just found that. That's so fucking.
Hello. Shit.
That's them on the picket line when the CEOs walk past. Hello, shit.
Every matter will die.
From the man that brought you to Superman Lois, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
my god. Holy
I
shit.
hate it here.
That's so fucking stupid. That fucking wait. So I think Bob Iger's gonna look back on those comments he made and say this.
Obviously, this particular comment didn't age too well.
I love it.
Let's see what else. What other things have we not played for you? Let's see.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Oh wait, why does it Annie lied? Hold on.
Is in Vancouver till February. Is she on another project?
Sorry, I was just trying to turn something off. What? I don't know. Ask her.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Ask her.
I don't know. Ask her.
God, I made that edit.
Jesus.
So for context, for people who didn't understand it, so if you look at the final frame, that the day when I put up that picture on the Flash Progress website is when I found out that Nicole was going to be on the Flash, and then it got announced only months later. But literally the week before it was announced, someone in the chat decided to ask, and poor Jordan, he genuinely didn't know, and it's like, I don't know.
You're like, I cannot answer that question on the grounds it may incriminate me.
This will be the writers and actors when the deal gets passed and they get raises.
Wow, you have seriously leveled up.
I love that clip. So stupid. Oh god.
I leave Central City for 2 seconds.
So okay, I want you to look at the final bit of this. So this is from the iconic Cisco leaving episode of Grant's smile when he gets transformed. He looks at the camera, and I zoom in. I want you to notice. I've never noticed this until I did this clip.
He does. He just his eyes just.
Yeah, he looks right at
right at the camera.
And the thing is, they probably went, "That's the best take. We have to use it, even though you look at the camera."
I don't even think they realized he did that. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
Oh, there's a classic. Well. I have no soul.
I thought you were gonna play the classic clip of this.
That one is everywhere, by the way. Just I think randomly the Assassin's Creed TikTok used it for something. It was hilarious.
Because he's a fucking fictional character. Get over yourself. No, at that point, I was so fed up with Felicity fans. I'm just like, good, you're suffering now.
Good. Yeah. I think we're gonna call it a night, guys. It's past the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, we've started. Wait, there's also death. Anytime Jordan has a disagreement with the CW scheduling this past 2 years, it's been this.
I'm sorry, Cisco, but to you, you've been dead for to me, you've been dead for centuries.
Dead. Poor boy. That poor boy didn't deserve that.
Flying fuck on a rolling donut.
Oh my god, Canada. Oh my god.
Well, we can keep going.
Oh, we can.
Wow.
Anyways.
Listen, some of these people have really funny reactions. Like, like imagine Cardi B came up and looked at you like that.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I don't know.
I think this is my last brain cells giving up for the night.
It's all good. There's a bug in here. Okay.
He
so
said it's from the episode where Frost learns Sperry is Savitar, but we don't see it because then the episode ends, and Jordan was so angry.
I was so mad. It's a good day though. We want to thank, of course, Taz for being here on this episode of Endless Multiverse. Thank you so much, Taz, for being here. Plug away, sir.
Thank you for having me again. Just uploading as much as I can over on the channel. I did a full breakdown for the Wolverine suit earlier this week. I've got a My Adventures with Superman video planned for later on this weekend, and then most likely a full kind of in-depth breakdown on that Ahsoka trailer, and then just kind of covering whatever else comes out in the next few days. So
if there's anything, who knows, right?
If there's anything, or maybe we're gonna go into a massive content drought. Who knows?
Oh, we have a super chat, by the way. Thank you for the super chat. When's the AI takeover and the writers are going to fight back? They all have to die. Next episode in this multiverse will be hosted by AI version of Andy and Chainsaw.
Yes.
And
hopefully we have stuff to talk about next week. Hopefully. We don't know. Who knows? Because this week was pretty big, but who knows?
We're just gonna have all we're gonna have to do is just make fun of Comic-Con, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that'll be pretty much it.
Can Taz come every week? I mean, we can kidnap him a few times, but it's fine.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's always fun to be here. I appreciate the invite back.
Well,
of course,
we're happy you're actually available because a lot of people we've reached out to over doing the show.
Is this the part you're calling a canagraphs?
No, this in general, there's a lot of people that we would like to reach out to, and if we have, or we just know they're not available because their work schedule or whatever, this is the only time we can really do the show. It's unfortunate. Obviously, people do other shows at other times. So you don't want to try to contradict too much doing a show. So
I felt you just attacked canagraphs and
look. I did the numbers. I did the numbers when I was on vacation a couple weeks ago. Canagraphs has been on the show. Canada's been on the show 15 times, planned or unplanned. So the man has appeared a lot. He's open, he's available. But yeah, it's just that it's good to have somebody. And the fact is too, I'd be sitting there talking to myself about Star Wars for 5 minutes. But at least Andy watched the trailer and was like, okay, so what's this? What does this mean? How do I thumbs down to Video Canada? Thanks. Ooh.
Wow.
It's actually opposite day, so the one that is a thumbs up button actually dislikes the video.
There you go. I like that. Well, as you guys know, we always end the show with the same clip ever. It is the iconic Cicada clip. Look at the opening where you see Cicada talking. You see Nora in the back just like standing there. And we'll see you guys next week. Gracie Cicada, take it away.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
Don't believe him, Gracie. Don't believe him.
Jesus.
What?
Scared me, Zoom.
You've heard me make this voice shit ton
of... Zoom. Look up the darkness.
we actually did. He was gone for a while. We figured it out. He had to go off somewhere being the Black Flash. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys next week. At least we're planning on being here. Who the fuck knows? There's going to be news. I'm assuming there'll be news revolving around the continued strikes. Other than that, who knows? Right? Probably to sit here and just stare at paint drying for 2 hours.
I'll be live on Twitch this weekend playing Valorant, so come and follow me. I'm trying to get to 250 followers.
Go watch Andy play some Valorant. I'm going crazy on that game. And thank you, Taz, for being here once again.
Have you been watching me?
I've been commenting a bit on your stuff.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't remember things anymore.
Anyways, thank you, Taz, for being here. This is, of course, Endless Multiverse, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
See everybody across the Endless Multiverse.